डियर स्टूडेंट्स अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मेरा नाम मोहम्मद सरमद है और आप देख रहे हैं मेरा यूट्यूब चैनल। सो आई वेलकम यू ऑल इन द सेकंड पार्ट ऑफ आवर लेक्चर ऑन द पोस्ट मॉडर्न पीरियड in history of English literature. So today we will be discussing some major thinkers or theories on postmodernism. We have first of all we have Lyotard. Lyotard is known for his work The Postmodern Condition, where he famously defines postmodernism as an incredulity toward meta-narratives. He argues that the grand, all-encompassing stories that once gave life meaning, such as religion, science, or progress, are no longer trusted. Instead, we live in a world of smaller, fragmented stories. So, Lyotard is a philosopher who, in his famous work, The Postmodern Condition, he emphasized on the rejection, or you can say the opposition to the meta narratives. In the previous lecture, I have mentioned that religion, science, it is considered to be few of the meta narratives in the world. So he says that postmodernism, uh, as an incredulity, is it's an incredulity towards meta narratives. ठीक है? He argues that the grand, all-encompassing stories that once gave life meaning. For example, if we look at science, so science has a philosophy of its own that life came into being through Big Bang, or life came into being through apes as per the theory of Darwin, or life came into being through the transformation or the evolution of cells. That first, earlier it was a one cell, then we have a concept of unicellular, then we have a concept of multicellular, then we have a concept of beings, living beings, non-living beings. So this all concept of meta narrative, or it's a very huge talk, huge debate, that how life has came into existence, how we came, and how we progressed, how we developed. So Lyotard mentions that in this era of postmodernism, uh, such narrations, they are no more reliable. They are very much contradictory, because every person has his or her own truth on a reality, on concept of reality. So we cannot rely upon some uh, particular meta narrative. So same goes for religion as a meta narrative. That meta narratives means that it's a grand narrative, it's a discourse which has been created by the religion or the science, uh, to, so that people can know that what is the reality, what is the objective truth, what is an absolute reality around them. For example, in religion there is a concept of God, there is a concept of angels, there is a concept of hell, there is a concept of heaven. So for postmodernist writers, or postmodernism as a theory, they reject or they negate all these things, and they say, as there is no absolute or objective truth or reality, so there is no need of this meta narrative. Rather, our world is scattered, or it's fragmented into, say, smaller parts or mini narratives, or you can show small discourses or fragmented stories. So he is very important. uh, Before going through postmodern novels or postmodern dramas, we must be familiar of Jan Lyotard's philosophy of postmodernism. Then we have Jacques Derrida. He's a French philosopher. Derrida is basically a post-structuralist thinker. Earlier, it was structuralism in which we see Saussure or Roland Barthes. They contributed in the field of structuralism, who believe that language, we are living in a world of structures. So this post-structuralists, they believe that no, the structures are not very much easier to understand or comprehend. We are the structures meaning of the language. It is not linear. It is not absolute. So one word can give you multiple meanings. So he presented his theory of deconstruction, which plays a significant role in the postmodern theory or in the postmodernism. Deconstruction challenges basically the idea of fixed meaning in text. For example, if you are reading a poem and you say, in this poem, the poet wants to say, or the poet is saying. So deconstruction is against that. Derrida say no. You are looking at the text and you are saying that the poet says this. It is not absolute. He might have said something else. He might have thought something else. The intended meanings in the reader's mind or in the writer's mind, they might be different. So he challenges the idea of fixed meanings in text, arguing that language is fluid and open to endless interpretation. For example, he says that if you see a tree, now your perception is that this the word tree, T-R-E-E, tree, you say that this is a tree. So tree, once you listen the word tree, tree can give you any meaning. Now you have a preconceived notion that tree is something which have branch, which have shoots, which have leaves, which have fruits, which have roots, so it's a tree. But Derrida says that no, language is not like that. One word can give you multiple meanings. Might be tree can be referred to some other thing or some other person. There is a person who is named tree. So he gives this deconstruction, signifying the importance of language, and says that language is fluid and it's open to endless interpretation, endless meanings. So this theory influenced postmodern literature's playful and often subversive use of language. Then we have Jean Baudrillard. He's also a French philosopher. We can also call him. I think it's a French pronunciation is Baudrillard, Jean Baudrillard or Baudrillard. His concept of hyperreality. It describes a world where simulations and media images have replaced reality, making the line between the real and the artificial indistinguishable. So. Baudrillard's or Baudrillard's philosophy, his two publications. One of the publication is Simulacra and Simulation, and the second publication is The Gulf War Did Not Take Place. They are a few of his very significant works in which he gives the concept of hyperreality. He says that in the postmodern age, we are living in not in reality, rather we are living in an age of hyperreality, where a world where stimulations and media, where media influences the reality in life, and it makes the line between the real and artificial. For example, you look at all the movies like superheroes movies, uh, like Justice League or Avengers. You take an example of that, like Star Wars. We can see that how the camera or the VFX, we call it, how this camera or this technology has created an effect in the three-dimensional or in the 3D form, that we are going to believe that this whatsoever we are looking on the screen, it's real. So likewise, he talks about the Gulf War. He says that who witnessed the Gulf War? So he believes that the Gulf War did not take place. So in his essay, he argues that how we come across that there was a Gulf War through media, and he does not believe on media. He says that media may misleads the masses. So his ideas, they resonate deeply in the postmodern works, especially novel or drama, that explore themes of media saturations and consumer culture. And we have an example here of white noise, which was very much influenced by Baudrillard's philosophy. Then we have Michel Foucault. Foucault's work focuses on how power, knowledge, and discourse shape our understanding of the world. So his theories on how societal institutions control and influence individual behavior are reflected in postmodern literature's exploration of control, surveillance, and identity. So Foucault's, you might have heard about knowledge is power. So he argues that if you are having knowledge, do you think that you are a powerful person? Or if you are having power, authority, do you consider yourself that you are a knowledgeable person? You possess some knowledge as well. So such discourses, he creates our understanding of the world through his concept of power, knowledge, and he believes that the societal institutions uh, like law and order or the state, these institutions, they control and influence individual behavior, and it is very much reflected in the postmodern literature's exploration of control, surveillance, and identity. So we will talk about him once we will be discussing postmodern novels. Then we have Frederick Jameson. Frederick Jameson, his famous work is the cultural logic of late capitalism. So in his work, he critiques postmodernism, arguing that postmodern culture, meaning the culture of the 1960s and afterwards, it reflects the fragmentation and commercialization of society. So he believes that the capitalist people, they commercialize their products. And his work highlights the commodification of art and the loss of historical depth in postmodern literature and culture. So he believes that culture is lost in the age of capitalism. He believes that art has been commodified. It becomes a commodity. It becomes a thing to sell, and it is very prominent in today's culture as well. We have an example in so many movies, like in Hollywood or Bollywood, whatsoever. The cinema, it's also, or we can see our drama industry, it becomes commercialized. So we are more focused on the TRPs or program ratings instead of the content, instead of the message. So because of this capitalism or the rise in capitalism, the art has become a commodity and a source of commercialization. Then there are some major authors and their works which are very prominent in the postmodern literature. I will just briefly give you an overview of the names. First of all is Thomas Pynchon, The Gravity's Rainbow and The Crying of Lot 49. They are the examples of postmodern literature. His writing is marked by intricate plots, dark humor, and a deep sense of paranoia. Then we have Don DeLillo. DeLillo's novels such as White Noise and Libra, they explore the intersections of technology, media, and culture. His writing often reflects the anxieties of modern society, blending reality with fiction in ways that challenges readers' perception. We will be discussing White Noise in detail. Then we have Kurt Vonnegut. We will be discussing his Slaughterhouse-Five in detail as well. With his distinctive style that blends satire, science fiction, and social commentary, Vonnegut's work like Slaughterhouse-Five and Cat's Cradle critique modern society's absurdities. His use of metafiction and non-linear storytelling is a hallmark of postmodernism. Then we have a very famous name, Angela Carter. Carter's Night at the Circus and The Bloody Chamber, we will discuss few of his works as well, are known for their feminist reimaginings of traditional tales and myths. So his writings are feminist writings. Her writing is rich with magical realism, irony, and intertextuality, making her one of the most celebrated voices of postmodern feminist literature. Then we have Paul Auster. Paul Auster's very famous work is the New York Trilogy. It's a prime example of postmodern detective fiction. His novels often explore themes of identity, language, coincidence, blurring the lines between reality and fiction. So we have traces of metafiction in his work as well. Then we have Margaret Atwood. Margaret Atwood or Atwood While often categorized as speculative fiction, Atwood's works, particularly The Handmaid's Tale, incorporates many postmodern elements, including metafiction, unreliable narrators, and dystopian settings that critique contemporary society. So we will be discussing her as well. So these authors, along with many others, have contributed significantly to the development of postmodern literature, each bringing their unique voice and style to the movement. Now let us look at the impact of postmodern literature. So postmodern literature has had a profound and far-reaching impact, not only on the literary world, but also on broader cultural and intellectual landscapes. Here are some key areas where its influence is most evident. First of all, the contemporary literature. Now, postmodernism broke the boundaries of what literature could be. It encouraged writers to explore unconventional forms and narratives. It emphasized on fragmented storytelling, unreliable narrators, metafictional elements, which paved the way for contemporary authors like David Foster Wallace, Jonathan Franzen, Zadie Smith, who continue to explore complex narrative that challenge readers' perceptions. Then we have cultural criticism and theory. We have thinkers like Jacques Derrida and Don Baudrillard, who drew upon postmodern ideas to question established truths, language, and representations. So, because of this, there is a trend of cultural criticism as well, cultural theory as well. We have trauma theory, we have attachment theory, we have deconstruction theory, we have reader response theory, we have post-colonial theory. So postmodernism leads to so many theoretical activities in different spheres of life. Then we have its impact on other art forms. Beyond literature, postmodern principles, they have influenced various art forms, including film, music, and visual arts. I have mentioned some of the examples that use non-linear storytelling, pastiche, and self-referentiality in their films, like directors like Quentin Tarantino or David Lynch. Music genres like hip hop, it often samples and remixes existing works, echo the postmodern practice of blending and reinterpreting existing art. Then we have challenge to traditional narratives. Postmodern literatures, questioning of objectivity or objective truth or objective reality and truth has altered how stories are told across all media. So it's not just in the novels, it's just not just in uh, movies, but dramas, cartoons. Skepticism is reflected in popular culture as well, where traditional heroes and linear plots are replaced with anti-heroes, open-ended narratives. We have so many stories in which we are unaware about the ending. Like I can give you an example of a movie named Nocturnal Animals with open ending. You can say it's an open-ending movie. Then we have anti-heroes like a character of Joker in Batman. It is very much prominent. It's a very famous hero and morally ambiguous characters. Like they are there are characters who are morally ambiguous characters. So shows that Breaking Bad or Black Mirror, they exemplify how postmodern sensibilities have become mainstream. Then, encouraging postmodern literature often requires active participation from the reader, who must piece together meaning from fragmented narratives or decode unreliable narrators. So, in the modern novels, we are very much aware of this thing that because of the stream of consciousness technique, these writings are totally writers friendly writings. We have to comprehend, we have to understand the text with difficulty. Likewise, in postmodernism, readers must take different pieces together and for meaning and get meaning from fragmented narratives or decode unreliable narrators so that they can understand the text. So this interaction challenges readers to engage critically, blurring the lines between authorial intent and reader interpretation. For example, author is intending to convey some other meaning, but on the other hand, the reader is receiving or interpreting the text as in some other way. not as expected by the author. So it makes a reading more dynamic and personal experience. So if we look at the reflection, its reflection on contemporary society, postmodern literature, it mirrors the complexities, contradictions, and uncertainties of the modern world. We have mentioned earlier as well in the previous lecture. In a society increasingly dominated by media, technology, and information overload, postmodern works they resonate by reflecting our fragmented experiences and questioning the nature of reality itself. So it's a very great impact on the contemporary society of postmodernism. In essence, postmodern literature has reshaped not only how stories are told, but also how we perceive and understand the world around us. Its legacy continues to inspire and provoke thought, urging us to question, explore, and redefine the boundaries of narrative and truth. So, to conclude, postmodern literature stands as a powerful testament to the complexities of human experience. It challenges norms, disrupts expectations, and embraces the chaos and ambiguity of life. Whether through fragmented narratives, metafiction, or irony, postmodern literature forces us to reconsider what we know or think we know about the world. As readers, we are invited not just to consume stories, but to engage with them, uh, question them, and find our own meanings within them. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of postmodern literature. I hope it inspires you, and the entire playlist is available free of cost for you. You can look at any lecture in the playlist starting from the Old English period to this postmodern period. I will be available on the comment section. If you have any queries, if you have any suggestions, you can drop a text. So stay tuned. We will be discussing major writers, major novelists, major works of Victorian age, of modern age, and the Romantic age. Stay tuned to this channel if you want to get enrolled in the entire course, where we can have a one-to-one conversation. We can have live sessions of 1.5 to 2 hours. Uh, then you can contact. You can message me in the comment box as well, and I will drop a link where of the organization institution where I am a guest speaker there, where a guest instructor there. I take online courses. It will be a paid course including your assessment and quizzes. So looking forward to your kind consideration and your positive feedback. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.